When you take cheap product, but combine it with marketing genius, that product might become successful. Prospect Heights, Arlington Heights, Mount Prospect. What do these towns have in common? Well, the name is a marketing genius. For an otherwise flat and uninviting place, they had to have cool names. So cameras are just another product. Doesn't matter if they're cheap or they don't produce great images. If they have a cool name, people might actually buy them. Hello photography fans, and welcome to another episode about classic cameras and classic photo gear. Today we're going to be talking about a really cool camera. Well, at least its name is really cool. The camera itself, not so much. You see, I was searching the great auction site and for different cameras, and I come across this little beauty. Now, this is not just any old camera. This is a Majestic camera, as the name suggests. Now, Majestic cameras cannot be cheap. They can only produce great images, I thought, right? Right. They should. But they don't. So Majestic is a cheap box camera with really expensive name. The Majestic is just a trademark of a company that was ran by Jack Galter. Actually, it was several different companies producing cheap product with really catchy names like Majestic or Spartus. And people were buying that stuff. The guy was so ballsy that he even tried to market one of his products as Kodak. It was caught by the trademark office and he was denied the name, but he had some cojones to do that. Well, today we're going to be talking about this box camera, Majestic box camera, made by Galter Products in Chicago, Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is in its full glory, Majestic glory, Galter product camera, Majestic box. What I do like about it is the graphics. Now, back in the 40s, late 40s, Galter would actually encourage some of the distributors to use their proprietary labels for the front of the cameras, for the lens boards. Now, there is a camera that was made by Galter, and that camera is Hopalong Cassidy. It's from, I guess, the show or a movie from the 40s. And there is one for sale right now for like $130, $140, but that's not something I'm really interested in. Now, I got this guy for about $30, a little bit more plus shipping. And the only reason I got it is, well, it's made in Chicago and it's pretty cool. I mean, look at it. The graphics, the design is really neat. And it's made out of sheet metal. It's not cardboard like Kodak would be. It's really, really sturdy. Now, there are no features. It's a box camera. On the side of it, you just have a shutter release. And then you have your selector for the time and instant exposure. So time exposure and instant exposure. And then you have your knob to advance the film. On the other side of this camera, you have your pop-up viewfinder. Whatever you call it, it's a viewfinder. It works. You can sort of aim at things. I was semi-successful with that, but it works. It's also made out of nice sturdy metal. So that's it. And in the back, you have your plate, which pops off. And then you have your inside cartridge. Now, this camera does use 120 film, standard film. And on the bottom of the plate, you actually, underneath the little seal, you actually do see the name Galter Products Corporation. Let me pull out the inner cartridge. So it's also out of stamped sheet metal. Looks something like this. The lens itself, really cheap meniscus lens, and it produces really quite sharp images in the center and really soft, almost dreamy like effect around the edges. Now that's common with many box cameras. They're supposed to have cheap lens for the camera to be cheap. Now the front of the camera also comes off, and behind it is the shutter mechanism, which is really cool. The lens itself is actually in the lens board, as you can see. It's really, again, it's really cheap meniscus lens, single element or double element. I don't think it's a double element, maybe it is. But the camera works. I shot 2 rolls of film with it. Now, I took this camera to Chicago to shoot a few rolls of film with it, and I'll be sharing these images at the end of the video. So let's put it back together, and let's put this beauty away. Ladies and gentlemen, Galter Majestic camera in its all majesty. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this overview of Galter Majestic cameras. Even though the images you're about to see are not very majestic. They're sharp in the middle, I'll give them that. But that's the function of many box cameras. This is almost like pinhole photography. Sharp in the middle and then soft around the edges. And this wasn't supposed to be an expensive camera. It takes great pictures, portraits, or whatever. It was meant to be a cheap camera, just with a catchy name, so people would buy it. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Chicago-made cameras, there are many great reads on the internet. One, I believe, is Chicago-made, and I invite you to, I'll put a link in the description. I invite you to check it out. There's a cool history about Jack Galter and his companies. So until next time, whenever that is, keep shooting film, keep the film alive.